My name is Shari, and I live with my husband, Josh, in Mexico. We moved here in 2018.
And never looked back.
We lived in Atlanta, Georgia. We were just living the normal American life, working full time, kind of seeing friends on weekends. And we worked a lot and got super burnout. Decided to take a sabbatical and travel around the world for a year, which was incredible. But halfway through that year, we decided there's no way we can just return to our old lives. And so we decided we wanted to live abroad, and we picked Mexico.
When we came to Mexico and checked out, Riviera Nayarit on the Pacific, it's got those jungly mountains spilling into the ocean, and everyone's just super friendly and always has a smile, and also just like great food, and yeah, it's good seafood. Yeah, it's just a beautiful place to live.
We actually made an offer on land right away, and then we went back to the US to pack up and sell our house there. And it took basically about 6 months between making the offer on the land and actually moving here. It was a relatively easy process. We worked with realtors once we were buying the land, and they really guided us through a lot of things, so that was super helpful.
I was actually pretty nervous about the move because we packed everything up in a 6x12 trailer and had sold the rest of our stuff. But so our entire life was in this 6x12 trailer in our 4Runner. I might have gone a little overboard, but I was checking like border cameras and everything and researching where the best place is to cross with the least amount of troubles. And then I used, what is it, the Michelin, I think, app or something like that. And I figured out where all the gas stations were, and then figured out like what my mileage was on my 4Runner towing this truck as we're like driving to Texas. And so I literally mapped out like where I would be approximately at a quarter tank of gas. And then also researching like what hotels we were staying at and that they had secure parking and stuff for our trailer. And it was definitely a challenge, but like by doing all that research, it like everything worked out really well. Super actually, smooth. Yeah. I mean, there were no major hiccups coming in.
No. Yeah, and it was a beautiful drive too.
A fear I had with moving here was the language barrier was a big part of it, and coming in, I didn't speak pretty much any Spanish. I could count to 10, I think, and ask for the...
Order a beer.
Yeah, I'd be like, uno más, por favor. And also just getting out of our comfort zone and moving somewhere that doesn't have the same conveniences as living in Atlanta does. We lived pretty much downtown, and everything was, right there, driving, And so living in a small town in Mexico has definitely changed that. And getting used to that is taking some time, but I wouldn't give it up for moving back by any means. This is where we want to be for sure.
Yes. My biggest fear was doing construction. That was really intimidating to me, coming in here and knowing we were going to take on this big construction project and not having a clue what we were doing or really being comfortable with the language. We knew what we wanted to build, and we're both creatives, so Josh just like went gung-ho into SketchUp and designed the whole house on his own, the whole property. And we essentially gave it to our builder, who was also an architect, and said, please make this into real plans. Yeah. And he did. Yeah,
when you are going to build and you're moving to a location is talk to people that have already done it, get their advice and go out to the local bars or restaurants, hang out on the beach. Don't be afraid to walk up to someone and that you've seen around town and they probably live here, and just see what their experience was. Talk to the local realtors and see who they've used or who they know, because there's a huge range out there of builders and subcontractors, and the biggest part is do your research. I love plants, and so a big part of it was the way the buildings were positioned on the property and the way the landscaping integrated into that. We sort of took from our travels and especially in places like Italy and Greece, and you sort of meander through a town. I kind of wanted to apply that to our property. And so having the multiple pathways and then beautiful landscaping and little nooks to go to and little hideaways and hangouts. We had epic views because we set up on a hillside, and so we could see the Sierra Madres and the ocean and the Pacific. And
we got really good breezes, which was amazing. We decided to sell the home because we just got a really good opportunity during the pandemic. So we sold it at the end of 2021. We had a lot of other ideas for projects we'd like to do, one of them being renovating an older home.
We chose the current house we're living in that we renovated. In the area we live, these opportunities don't come up every day. And we were actually renting a house next door to this house. Because we've been here so long, we had let our friends in the industry know, we were kind of looking. They're like, hey, so this is funny, the house next door to you is about to go on market. Do you want to take a look at it? And we're like, yeah, sure, why not? And honestly, when I first walked in here, I was like, yeah, no way. I was like, I'm not renovating this house. It looks like it's gonna be a lot,
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, we're renovating this house. It looks incredible. We can do so much with it.
I took another look at it. Sherry blinked her eyes at me. and so I was like, okay, let's do this. And then we just started breaking it down, like what's gonna need to be done. And it was a lot, honestly. We ripped up all the floors. We chipped away all the walls and everything. Had to like scrape the ceilings and added a second bathroom between two of the bedrooms. Out back there was it was just a pit basically where water just collected, and it seemed useless basically, but I instantly saw the opportunity because it was so deep. So we put our water cistern down there and the utilities down there and elevated it and made like beautiful patio spaces. We are built edge to edge on this property and we don't have the same amount of land. I wanted to be able to see green and plants outside every window. So I made sure to literally put planters out every window. So, I had jungle life everywhere we looked.
It's definitely a different challenge to renovate an existing structure rather than just start from scratch. I don't know, it was one that I really enjoyed, and I think you did too.
I think I enjoy the building from scratch better.
Yeah?
Yeah, just because you have, freedom to do what you want.
Yeah, that's funny because I kind of liked the parameters and the challenges of working with existing walls and trying to transform in that way. So yeah, that's interesting.
We bought this house at the beginning of 2022. The construction was about 6 months or so, and planning was another 2 months or so.
Planning and permitting.
Yeah, so it was about 8 or 9 months overall to complete the renovation of this house.
And Josh was on site every single day, completely getting his hands dirty, getting in there with the crew and working, and also making sure that things went right, because that is a big issue in construction here, is if you are not on site every day, things get messed up.
I feel like in the United States, we have our standards of things, and in Mexico, they have their standards. And so as, coming from the United States, I want things to feel very familiar. When I walk in a room and I reach up to turn on a light, I want it to be at the height that my brain expects it to be. It tends to be in this region, the countertops are slightly shorter than they are in the United States. And I think it's because on average, people are a little shorter around here, locals at least, And I'm a tall guy, so I made sure that our kitchen counters and bathroom counters are at the height that feels comfortable. Because their standards are one way, you get the workers that just go to default mode, and so you got to be sure that everything is marked out the way you want it, and then check on it as well, because they'll forget, or they'll get someone new in here that wasn't briefed properly, and they just go at it.
It's incredibly rewarding. It
is super rewarding. To build your own project most people don't even ever build their own home, and to do it twice already, in a matter of 6 years, I think, I don't know, we might be a little addicted to doing it. I don't know. There's definitely a project in the future. Don't know when, but yeah, it'll happen.
Okay. So this house that we're living in now, that we renovated, well, in comparison to our old place, the older place had a lot of stairs, taking advantage of that view. And I'm really lazy. I don't like stairs. We used to live in a ranch house in the US, and this house is 1 story. And actually when we bought it to renovate it, every single person said, put a second floor on it, put a second floor on it. And we were like, no, we don't want stairs. So we're super happy to just be on 1 level. Another big aspect of it was we wanted to bring in light, we wanted big open space, and luckily the ceilings are pretty tall in here, so it feels a lot bigger than it is, which is really nice. We like to entertain, we like to hang out with friends. Josh is a big cook, so the kitchen and the dining room and living room are all essentially 1 big room. It was really important to have greenery outside every opportunity where you can look out there and just see plant life.
Like feature that I love about the home is originally we had almost like a parking space, you know, it wasn't really though, but it like almost went into the house. And something that we decided to do was completely remove that and turn it into a nice outdoor space to hang out and have a bit of garden as well out front. We put outdoor shower in as well, which didn't exist, and that's probably, well, both of our favorites for sure.
Yeah, can't shower inside
we have
anymore.
We have an indoor showers as well, but we never shower indoors. We always shower outdoors.
Yeah, under the palm trees.
Yeah.
We were definitely inspired by more traditional Mexican design with floor tiles and things like that. It's bohemian-ish. It's got a touch of modern.
I mean, a big part of it was just making it feel warm and inviting, and I think it's a mix of materials, you know, having the warmth of wooden furniture and you know, big wooden dining room table and wooden chairs. And then like the shelving, a big part of it that I never really have been a fan of in kitchens, especially in the United States, is the cabinets everywhere. You know, like it makes the kitchen feel more closed and like heavy in a way.
One of the challenges in this region is that there's a ton of humidity, which means you don't want to completely close things off. So that's clothing because it will mold, and that's your kitchen cabinets too. So what you basically have to do is come up with some sort of solution that is cabinet faces that aren't fully closed. So whether that's like burlap or slats or whatnot.
Yeah, vented
you always
cabinet
have to think
spaces.
about that. Vented cabinets.
Like louvered cabinets is a popular one around
Those
here.
are
The doors.
correct words.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing that is always a challenge. One of the most difficult things to find, to source, to buy in this region is lighting. That has been one of the biggest challenges for us.
Variety of lighting, like having...
Variety of lighting. Yeah, of course lighting exists. We're picky.
Very particular about our lights.
We were able to find some cool stuff like through Instagram and finding artisans like way far away in Mexico, but they could ship. We've gone to other parts of Mexico to find stuff and buy it ourselves. And we have, as a last resort, had to buy some stuff in the US and import it, basically. So with all of our experiences that we've had from moving to Mexico, living here, building homes, we got questions all the time from people about those experiences. And we were happy to talk to people, and they would always tell us, you should write a book. And we were like, no, we're not writing a book.
Yeah, I mean, I happened so many times, people are like, write a book, share your stories, do a blog, do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then earlier this year, I woke up and I had the beginning of a book in my head. And I was like, well, crap, now I can't work. I can't do anything else until I get this out of my head so there's room for other stuff. And so I started typing, and I wound up typing the entire day. Tons of people are moving here, especially since everyone can work remotely now. People are moving here with young families and kids, and none of those books are really addressing that. So that's what we wanted to do. So our book is called The Young Expat's Guide to Mexico. We've had some crazy experiences. Our friends have had crazy experiences, so there's lots of entertaining stories in there. We have so much hard-won knowledge from people we've met here, connections we've made, fixers we know, and then we also just have a lot of input from experts as well. So it's a big mix and includes a ton of logistical information too on how to actually do it step by step.
You know, whether you're 100 years old and you're deciding to move here, or you're 20 years old and you're deciding to move here, I think it can help everybody. But I think the point of it though is that there just wasn't anything that targeted, you know, our generation for doing this.
We plan on being here for as long as we can. We love Mexico.
Mexico is definitely #1 for us. I can't imagine living anywhere else right now, honestly. Like with all our travels, Mexico kind of checks all those boxes. So we plan to stay in Mexico for, who knows, forever.
Hola amigos, it's me, Paul, back on camera. If you're new to the channel, I produced today's video. So if you like that video, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And a special thank you to Sherry and Josh for sharing their amazing story. They had a ton of useful information for people who are interested in moving to Mexico or have already moved here. And they got even more information in their book. So if you're interested in that book, follow the link in the description of this video and it will take you straight to the Amazon link. And a special thank you to you for subscribing to this channel, supporting this channel by becoming a member. Muchas gracias. De mi familia a la tuya, Dios te bendiga.